We would like to begin Foreign Minister Hayashi's press conference.
Good morning. I have two issues as opening remarks. As announced in the release, from November the 20th to the 22nd, Dr. Acevedo, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Paraguay, will visit Japan as a guest of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Japan-Paraguay Foreign Ministers meeting is planned to be held on the 22nd. Through this meeting, I hope to further enhance our bilateral political and economic ties with Paraguay, with whom we share fundamental values, and discuss such matters as response to global issues, including climate change and regional situation, as well as international issues.
Another matter is related to provision of vaccines by Japan. Regarding the provision of vaccines against COVID-19 through COVAX facility, once coordination is made, we have going to provide 3.7 million shots of AstraZeneca's vaccines made in Japan to Cambodia, Laos, Bangladesh, Tonga, Vanuatu, Nicaragua, Egypt, Syria, and Yemen. This is the first time to provide vaccines to African continent and Central and South America. And these vaccines will be shipped out once the preparations are made. Now, we are making coordination for direct provision of vaccines to Vietnam. Japan has already provided 30 million shots of vaccines. Going forward, we will consider the status of production and the use of vaccines in Japan, as well as status in situation of infections and needs for vaccines in each country and region for promoting provision. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? If you have any question, please raise your hand. If you are designated, please approach the microphone and please mention your name and affiliation.
Miki-san, please. Miki of Nikkei. President Biden of the United States commented that they are considering a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Olympic Games. What is the position of Japan, and how is the coordination underway in the Japanese government? President Biden, in his Q&A with the press, made such a comment. I'm aware of that. I will refrain from making any particular comments on the response by each country regarding the Beijing Winter Olympic Games. At any rate, Japan hopes that the Beijing Winter Olympic Games will be held as a festival of peace based upon the visions of the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Next question, please.
Yes, please have the floor. My name is Kaite. I am from Mainichi Shimbun. Regarding the Economic Security Promotion Conference was established, and there will be a preparation office for that purpose as well. And regarding the importance of economic security, as well as the revision of the security policy, how are you going to position economic security? And also in relation to the impact of the economic security on diplomatic relations, such as Japan, China, and Japan, the US? Yes. As has been mentioned earlier, chaired by Prime Minister Kishida, the first Economic Security Promotion Conference was held, and I myself has also participated in order to promote economic security and build for that, as well as how to examine these processes, have been discussed at the meeting. As for the background for such discussions, in recent years, the impact of security has not been confined in the traditional area, but also it is rapidly expanding into economic and technology areas as well. Given this backdrop in the economic security area, the competition among countries have become more evident and noticeable. And when it comes to the securing of the strategic goods, as well as the important technologies and outflow of technologies, such importance has been gaining a lot more importance. So at the MOFA, In order for securing such economic security, we would like to promote steadily necessary measures to be taken by the government of Japan as a whole. We would like to be united at the government of Japan as a one whole body in order to make a proactive contribution. And we would like to continue to strengthen cooperation with other countries such as the US. Next question, please. Sato-san, please.
Asahi Newspaper, my name is Sato. Thank you for this opportunity. There was a related question on the Beijing Olympic Games slated to take place next year in February. I have a related question. Yesterday at your telephone conference with the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Minister Wang Yi mentioned that positive general public opinion should be created towards the Beijing Games in Japan. I think, according to press reports, that's what he said. Can you confirm that? And what is the message that you delivered to your counterpart regarding the Beijing Games? State Councillor Wang Yi mentioned that next year the Beijing Olympic and Paralympic Games will be held. He introduced that fact, but there was no detailed discussion on that matter. Thank you.
Chiba-san, please approach the microphone. My name is Chiba. I'm from Sankei Shimbun. Regarding Taiwan, now Taiwan is gaining attention from the international community regarding the security in terms of the relationship between Japan and Taiwan because of the supply of the vaccines. And I think the relation has continued to be friendly. And traditionally, from Kochikai, you have been respecting the relationship between Japan and you have become the foreign minister. And regarding the going forward, the relationship between China and Japan, what is your vision? And in your career, if you have any engagement in the relationship between Japan and Taiwan, could you please share them with us today? Regarding the relation with Taiwan, consistently based upon the principles that we have observed, we would like to promote relationship as we have been doing. And right after I became a Diet member, I recall, I think there was a private sector held forum between Japan and Taiwan where I participated and had discussion. That's what I recall. Next question, please.
Mr. Sushiro, please. Good morning. Congratulations for your appointment. My name is Sushiro of JIEF Economic Monthly, Indonesian Press. Around 7 o'clock yesterday, there was the summit telephone meeting between Japan and Indonesia. Abduction issue, cooperation, East China Sea, South China Sea, Myanmar, ASEAN issue, and 2022 G20 presidency by Indonesia, and 50th anniversary of ASEAN-Japanese ties. These were some of the topics held, but since you have been newly appointed as a foreign minister, do you have any new initiatives in mind that you wish to take vis-a-vis ASEAN or Indonesia? Thank you very much. Southeast Asian countries are traditional partners for Japan. Favorable relations with each Southeast Asian countries is indispensable for the peace and prosperity of Japan. Further, the Southeast Asian region is the growth center of the global economy with a population of 670 million. It is located in a geopolitically important area and is the linchpin for the realization of a free and open Indo-Pacific. And based upon such notion, Japan will continue to promote cooperation in wide-ranging areas with Southeast Asian countries, including Indonesia. I myself, before I became minister, have had various occasions to meet with Southeast Asian politicians, through which I have conducted various discussions. I'm sure that such experience will be positive. Next question, please.
My name is Tanaka. I'm from GG Press. Regarding Beijing Winter Olympics, I have a question. The U.S. is considering the diplomatic boycott, as this is backed by the serious violation of human rights in Japan. As the government of Japan, do you consider sending the important persons to attend the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games in Japan? What is the Japanese government response? As I said earlier, in relation to the response to Olympic and Paralympic Games, regarding the attendance by important persons from foreign countries, this shall be considered by the NOC and NPC. Each country's Olympic Committee and Paralympic committees will make applications, and IOC and IPC shall certify or authorize such applications. And that is the system applicable to the Games. So regarding in Beijing Olympics, I believe that such system will be applied as well. For now, regarding attendance by Japanese personnel from the government, nothing has been determined. Next question, please.
Sawai-san. TV Asahi Sawai is my name. In Washington, the trilateral vice foreign ministers meeting was held. I have two questions. The joint press conference, which was slated to take place yesterday morning, was canceled due to the landing on Takeshima by the head of the ROK National Police. What's your take on that, and what's the background? And there have been bilateral discussions between Japan and U.S. and Japan and ROK regarding denuclearization of North Korea. In order to have North Korea come to the table, we heard or Ambassador Sherman said that the declaration of the end of Korean War was discussed to bring him to the table. So what was the discussion and what is the position of Japan? First of all, on the cancellation of the joint press conference, you mentioned the meeting in Washington. And as far as the joint press conference is concerned, considering the issue over Takeshima and in view of Japan's position, it was not acceptable. We lodged strong complaints to the ROK, and under such context, we thought it is inappropriate to hold a joint press conference. That was a judgment on the declaration and on the end of the Korean War. Regarding response by North Korea, 2 days ago, including the trilateral meeting that was held in Washington 2 days ago, Japan, U.S., and Korea are keeping in close contact. I would refrain from commenting on matters that touch on details of diplomatic exchanges, but this is something that has been discussed bilaterally and trilaterally. And Japan and U.S. will continue to collaborate closely on North Korea. Next question, Abe-san.
My name is Abe. I'm from Yomiuri Shimbun. At the end of this month, there will be WTO ministerial meeting. What discussion are you expecting to have? Or are you yourself going to attend the WTO meeting? If so, this is going to be the first foreign trip for you as a foreign minister. Please give us your take. Regarding the 12th WTO ministerial meeting, regarding myself attending or not, well, there has been nothing determined regarding my attendance. But if I may say, WTO, as you know, is the foundation of multilateral trade system. On the other hand, in response, the response to new emerging issues as well as the reform of the WTO itself are an imminent issues. So this is going to be the first time in 4 years interval. This ministerial conference is expected to discuss the response to pandemic, and also it's going to be an important opportunity for WTO to show important role to be played in terms of recovery of the economy. For us, Japan, which is valuing the rule-based, free and open economic trade order, we believe that we need to cooperate closely with other countries to show our contribution.
Higuchi-san, please take the floor. Higuchi of Chugoku newspaper. In 2023, the G7 summit will be held in Japan. I have a question on that. Hiroshima City and Hiroshima Prefecture have announced their candidature to serve as the venue. Amongst the citizens, that would be a great opportunity to deliver a message to the world about the preciousness of peace, since it is an area affected by the A bomb. How do you think about the possibility of holding the G7 summit in Hiroshima? And at the same time, Fukuoka City seems to be coming up with its candidature, but what is the timeline on decision making of the venue for the G7 summit? Currently, we have called upon various municipalities to come up with a bid regarding hosting the G7 summit in 2023. And as far as Hiroshima Prefecture and Hiroshima City are concerned, through press reports, I am aware that they are seeking to become the host. On the selection of the venue, we will take into consideration accommodation facilities, venue of the conference, transport access, as well as security-related matters, and study comprehensively to come up with a judgment. In hosting the summit, Fukuoka Prefecture, Fukuoka City, Fukuoka Prefecture have already announced their candidature. I'm aware of that. Next question, please.
The gentleman over there, please. My name is Jimbo of Video News. This is my first time to participate in this press conference. Maybe perhaps you attended the last week as well. Regarding COP26, Prime Minister Kishida made a speech showing very powerful commitment. On the other hand, current situation of Japan regarding the use of the coal-fired power plant power generation, well, if it's going to be reduced, that message was not delivered, and using the fossil fuels and 46% by 2030 and carbon neutrality to be achieved by 2050, and these goals have been maintained, but in the world, utilizing ammonia and hydrogen, these are considered to be unrealistic, showing the less commitment. Maybe it's not your jurisdiction at the MOFA, but I'd like to hear your take on this. The per capita emission in Japan, in terms of the climate change response, we are not so bad in terms of the ratio against the GDP. But because of the continuation of the coal-fired power generation, this has become such a big issue, and we have been given, Japan has been given the fossil award by NGO, and this is maybe only one area for the countries to get along well. And we have been making the enemies in this area. Japan has been pointed as evil ones, and for some reasons, Japan's efforts have not been evaluated highly. And in order to take initiatives in the diplomatic relations, and I think that these efforts in the global climate change have been the lagging. And coal-fired power generation to be reduced, which are not unabated. Well, we believe that this policy has been in line with our domestic policies, and we believe that we have to promote decarbonization policies in Japan. Actually, situation regarding energy use is varying from a country to another. We do not have a lot of our natural resources. We are surrounded by seas, and safety and self-sufficiency and economic viability, and also compatibility with environmental regulation and eco-friendly energy resources are not available. So a variety of energy sources should be utilized in our country. But as has been mentioned by you, when it comes to the coal-fired power generation, emits a lot of CO2. So while securing the stable supply of electric power, and the ratio of coal-fired power generation should be reduced as much as possible. That's what I believe. So towards 2030, inefficient coal-fired power generation should be faded out. This should be steadily promoted. At the same time, towards 2050, and CCUS and ammonia and hydrogen should be utilized more in order to change our society to decarbonized ones, and we have to continue to make efforts towards that. Thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you. Azhari Pan, Orient News and Arab News Japan. The International Atomic Energy Agency says or claims Iran is continuing to produce highly enriched uranium for beyond limits set under the 2015 nuclear deal. Iran, meanwhile, criticized that the world, Iran said the world silence on Israel that is continues to be non-signatory on to the NPT, nuclear non-proliferation treaty, is continuing. So what is Japan's position on these nuclear issues in the Middle East? Thank you.
Thank you. 我が国は
Thank you very much. Japan supports the non-proliferation regime and the nuclear deal that contributes to the stability in the Middle East. So we are deeply concerned about the initiatives taken by Iran to reduce its commitment, and we have been repeatedly asking Iran strongly to respond constructively towards early return to the original commitment under the nuclear deal. And regarding Israel, we have been asking Israel to accede to the NPT as a non-nuclear weapon state. Japan will continue to take advantage of the unique position that we have gained through favorable relationship with various central states that contribute to the stability of the Middle East, and continue our tenacious diplomacy effort for mitigation of tension in the region and stabilization towards the resolution of the nuclear issue. Next question, please.
My name is Aoyama. I'm from Tuning News. I think you had the Japan-China teleconference yesterday. Could you please give us your take on the threats by China? You changed your constituency in the earlier the election on April 15th, and I think that you raised this relation or measures against the threats by China as one of the reasons for changing the constituency for the lower house. Could you please give us your take on the threat? When I had a press conference for changing my constituency for the lower house election, I don't remember if I mentioned that as one of the reasons for changing the constituency. But as I said earlier in response to the question about the Japan-China conference, and yesterday we made an announcement on the outflow. We referred to the 50th anniversary of the normalization of the diplomatic relations and a stable and constructive Japan-China, the relationship. And on October 8th, we had the summit meeting, and we'd like to continue to work closely with Mr. Wang Yi in order to realize the summit meeting. And regarding the Senkaku Island situation, as well as the East China Sea and the South China Sea, Hong Kong and Xinjiang, Uyghur, and regarding these issues, we have expressed serious concerns. And for stability and peace of Taiwan Strait, we mentioned importance of these. Inclusive of these issues, we'd like to continue consultation with them and a very dialogue with them as well. That's what I mentioned. So I believe that we could have a very frank exchange of opinions. So now it is time. We would like to conclude today's press conference. Thank you.
You can go ahead with your last question. Thank you. Do you have a comment on Otani winning the MVP in the United States? This is a great, great achievement. As one Japanese citizen, I was very much encouraged. It gave me energy. And I'm proud to be a Japanese citizen. I truly pray for his further achievement. Thank you. That is the end of today's press conference. Thank you for your participation. Thank you very much.